We open up tonight's spooky drama trail with a thought-provoking and controversial drama written by the man responsible for the resurrection of Doctor Who. But not before he resurrected the erstwhile Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, in The Second Coming. Russell T Davies set this modern-day parable in Manchester and used what was then Manchester City's home ground, Main Road, for the pivotal scene. Over the years, Manchester has seen some incredible dramatic moments both on and off the football field. But something extraordinary happened in 2003 when the city formed the backdrop to one of the greatest stories ever told. The Second Coming of the Messiah. Christopher Eccleston was the Son of God, and Leslie Sharp was his girlfriend as writer Russell T Davies imagined what would happen if Christ came to Manchester.
Can you tell me who you are? That's right, lad. And I'm the Queen of Sheba.
In order to make it accessible and believable and to make it a bit of popular drama is the fact that it's set amongst ordinary people. So there's a grittiness to it that makes then the extraordinary events absolutely extraordinary.
I think it's brilliant that Russell set Jesus coming back to Earth in Manchester, because it's just fantastic that he came to Manchester and not London. You know, you'd think that Jesus might come back to a capital city, but hey, why not the capital city of the north of England? You know, great that the north of England is where the Son of God might decide to arrive.
Manchester was the chosen city because, just like Nazareth, it's a hard-working northern town. And this car park in Salford is not only down to earth, it's also just down the road from the offices of Red Productions, who made the drama.
This is the car park where we shot the scene where Steve delivers his big speech to the crowd. Chris Eccleston was standing here on a small platform surrounded by policemen.
The centre of the whole thing really is that speech that where Steve Baxter faces the crowds and all the cameras as well and speaks to the whole world, and everyone watches it on television.
If you want the position of God, then take the responsibility. And I'm like you. I've been you.
The Son of God couldn't come to Manchester without visiting at least one of its football grounds. But like Jericho, the walls of Main Road have since come tumbling down.
The scene we shot here was so crucial for the whole drama because this is where Steve performs his miracle that convinces the world, and certainly convinces the audience watching, that he is the Son of God, that he's not gone mad. Behind me is where the pitch was, running that way, and the centre circle would be, I guess, in the middle of that mud pile over there, and that's where Chris stood and performed his miracle. And our characters had all come out of those streets and poured down the streets into the ground.
They've got the gates open. How's that happened? What's it all for?
The arrival of the Son of God on this earth. Me?
But where there's light, there's also darkness. And when the Son of God appears on earth, the devil is never far behind.
The devil is desperate and psychotic and mad and cunning. All those visceral human failings there. He lives in his mother's house and she's died and he's lonely and just watches telly all day long. Stuffs takeaways down himself. He's every failing we all have, frankly. There's an awful lot of me in that.
You've got this kind of really useless fella, you know, can't get a girl, he's overweight, he dresses terribly, and then, you know, in a split second, you've got the scariest man on earth.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
I'm sorry.
Suddenly, Johnny goes from being this kind of cuddly, amiable, someone that you feel sorry for, to being someone who is totally malevolent and creepy and actually evil.
Bitch!
In my head, I played him like he was the devil, because I think that because he was kind of the one demon that was focused on, I figured, well, why not go for the top? Let's go for the head honcho. You know, and that's more of a challenge, really, because you just think, well, how do you play the devil?
You've got the Son of God, you've got the devil, and you've got this woman in the middle, who is us, you know, that's our eyes and ears, negotiating her way through the world going mad and having to believe the most extraordinary things and fighting against it, and yet in love with this man. You know, it's you name an emotion, and it's there with Judith. Eventually, you get the scene where Judith murders Steve. She murders the man she loves for the sake of the world.
Judith decides that the world would be a better place if there was no God. And so Russell actually wrote that a woman kills religion, which I thought was a breathtaking thing to do. I mean, quite extraordinary.
How did it get to you? Who was it? Johnny Tyler? What did he say?
This isn't the devil's work, Steve. It's just me. You've got to eat this and you've got to die.
I can't be killed.
You can die when you're meant to die, and that's now because I worked it out. Do you want a beer?
Yeah.
I think maybe Russell and quite a few other people too think that maybe if we were on Earth and we all took responsibility for our lives while we're here, rather than trying to live for the next world, then maybe the world would be a better place because we'd address the here and now.